Question 1. Insurance policies and coverage. Which of the following is not typically considered an exclusion in a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Damage caused by flooding. B. Damage from fire. C. Theft of personal property. D. Vandalism to the exterior of the property. Answer A. Damage caused by flooding. Explanation. A standard homeowner's insurance policy typically does not cover damage caused by flooding. Flood damage is generally excluded from standard policies and would require separate flood insurance. B. Fire damage is covered by most standard homeowners policies, though there are some specific exclusions. G. Intentional fire. C. Theft of personal property is typically covered under the personal property section of the policy. D. Vandalism to the exterior is also typically covered, though some exclusions may apply depending on the circumstances, such as if the property has been vacant for a certain period. Question 2. Claims process and procedures. Mr. Mitchell's home was severely damaged in a storm. After filing the claim, the adjuster determines the damages to be $75,000. However, the insurer's policy limit is $50,000 for storm damage. What is the most likely course of action for Mr. Mitchell? A. Mr. Mitchell will receive the full $75,000 minus his deductible. B. Mr. Mitchell will only be compensated up to the policy limit of $50,000. C. Mr. Mitchell must provide a new estimate of the damages to meet the policy limit. D. The insurer will provide compensation for the $75,000 as it exceeds the policy limit and Mr. Mitchell is entitled to the full payout. Answer B. Mr. Mitchell will only be compensated up to the policy limit of $50,000. Explanation. In insurance, a policy limit is the maximum amount an insurer will pay for a covered loss. Since Mr. Mitchell's homeowner's policy has a $50,000 limit for storm damage, he will receive compensation only up to that amount, even though the damages total $75,000. The amount in excess of the policy limit is the responsibility of the policyholder unless additional coverage, e.g. a rider, was purchased. This is incorrect because the insurer will not pay more than the policy limit. C. Providing a new estimate is not typically required in this situation unless there's a dispute about the damage assessment. D. The insurer is not obligated to pay beyond the policy limit, regardless of the damage amount. Question 3. Fraud prevention and detection scenario-based. Mr. Smith recently filed a claim for a stolen car. After the adjuster interviews him, he is unable to provide clear details of where the car was last parked or who may have witnessed the theft. Additionally, the police report is missing crucial information. What should the adjuster's next step be? A. Approve the claim as Mr. Smith has provided a police report and is cooperating. B. Proceed with the claim, but ensure that Mr. Smith provides additional documentation before final approval. C. Deny the claim immediately due to insufficient evidence of the theft. D. Investigate further for signs of possible fraud, considering the inconsistencies in Mr. Smith's story and the missing police details. Answer. D. Investigate further for signs of possible fraud, considering the inconsistencies in Mr. Smith's story and the missing police details. Explanation. When investigating insurance claims, especially for theft, the adjuster must look for inconsistencies or gaps in the claimant's statements, as these can be red flags for possible fraud. In this case, Mr. Smith's inability to provide clear details about the last known location of the car and missing crucial information from the police report warrants further investigation. The adjuster should conduct a deeper inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the theft, potentially involving surveillance or additional interviews. Approving the claim without further investigation would be premature, especially given the inconsistencies in Mr. Smith's story. B. While requesting more documentation is appropriate, simply proceeding with the claim without further scrutiny may allow fraudulent claims to be processed. C. Denying the claim immediately without thorough investigation would be improper, as there is still room for further examination before making a final decision. Question 4. Claims investigation and evaluation. When investigating a personal injury claim, the adjuster finds that the claimant's medical records show a prior injury to the same area. What should the adjuster do next? A. Deny the claim based on the prior injury. B. Investigate further to determine whether the current injury is related to the prior one. C. Accept the claim, as prior injuries are irrelevant in personal injury claims. D. Request that the claimant provide a medical examination from their doctor before proceeding. Answer. B. Investigate further to determine whether the current injury is related to the prior one. Explanation. In personal injury claims, it's critical for the adjuster to differentiate between pre-existing conditions and injuries caused by the accident. The prior injury should not automatically lead to a denial of the claim, but it is essential to investigate further to determine if the current injury is exacerbated by the accident or if it is unrelated. Denying the claim based solely on a prior injury without proper investigation is inappropriate. C. Prior injuries are important, but their relevance must be assessed in the context of the current injury. D. While a medical examination might be helpful, it's more important to first investigate the relationship between the current injury and the pre-existing one. Question 5. New York insurance laws and regulations. Under New York state law, which of the following is required for an insurer to settle a claim? A. The claimant must accept the insurer's first offer without negotiation. B. The insurer must settle claims promptly and in good faith within a reasonable time frame. C. The insurer can delay settlement indefinitely if the claim is complex. D. The claimant must provide all medical records before the insurer can begin settlement discussions. Answer. B. The insurer must settle claims promptly and in good faith within a reasonable time frame. Explanation. New York state law mandates that insurers settle claims in good faith and without unnecessary delay. Insurers are required to make reasonable efforts to resolve claims promptly, especially when there is clear liability. A delay in settlement can be seen as an attempt to act in bad faith, which could lead to penalties or legal consequences. The claimant has the right to negotiate and does not have to accept the insurer's first offer. C. Insurers cannot delay settlement indefinitely and must follow the requirements for timely handling. D. The claimant is not required to provide all medical records before settlement negotiations begin, though some information may be necessary. Question 6. Settlement and payment of claims. Which of the following is a key consideration for an adjuster when negotiating a settlement for a bodily injury claim? A. The claimant's willingness to settle for a lower amount to avoid trial. B. The medical expenses and lost wages resulting from the injury. C. The total amount of premiums paid by the policyholder. D. The age of the insurance policyholder at the time of the injury. Answer. B. The medical expenses and lost wages resulting from the injury. Explanation. When negotiating a settlement for bodily injury claims, the adjuster focuses primarily on the damages sustained, which include medical expenses and lost wages due to the injury. These are direct economic impacts and will form the basis of any compensation in the settlement. While willingness to settle may be a factor, it is not the primary consideration. The adjuster must focus on the actual damages. C. The amount of premiums paid by the policyholder is irrelevant to the claim settlement amount. D. The age of the policyholder is not a primary factor in determining bodily injury settlement, though it could impact future care or life expectancy in certain cases. Question 7. Types of adjusters and their responsibilities. Which of the following statements about public adjusters in New York is true? A. Public adjusters are employed by insurance companies to handle claims on behalf of the insurer. B. Public adjusters work independently and represent the interests of the policyholder, not the insurer. C. Public adjusters cannot represent the interests of policyholders in the state of New York. D. Public adjusters must be employed by a licensed law firm to operate in New York. Answer. B. Public adjusters work independently and represent the interests of the policyholder, not the insurer. Explanation. A public adjuster in New York is an independent professional who works on behalf of the policyholder, not the insurer, to evaluate and negotiate claims. They help ensure that the policyholder receives the maximum settlement possible under the terms of the insurance policy. Public adjusters are licensed by the state and have a duty to act in the best interests of the policyholder. A. Public adjusters are not employed by the insurer and do not represent their interests. C. Public adjusters are allowed to represent policyholders in New York. D. Public adjusters are not required to be employed by a law firm to operate in New York. Question 8. Fraud prevention and detection. Which of the following is a red flag that may indicate possible fraud in an insurance claim? A. The claimant has multiple claims for similar injuries over the years. B. The claimant provides documentation that is timely and consistent with the injury. C. The claimant has a history of high claim amounts due to large property damages. D. The claimant quickly settles for a lower payout without negotiations. Answer A. The claimant has multiple claims for similar injuries over the years. Explanation. A pattern of multiple claims for similar injuries over the years can raise suspicions of soft fraud or exaggeration of claims. Adjusters should be cautious and conduct a thorough investigation if the claimant's history shows repeated claims for similar injuries, as this could indicate fraudulent behavior. B. Timely and consistent documentation is generally a positive sign in claims handling. C. A history of high claim amounts does not necessarily indicate fraud, but it could warrant closer scrutiny. D. Quick settlements do not automatically suggest fraud, they could be a sign of effective negotiation or genuine urgency on the part of the claimant. Question 9. Claims process and procedures. When assessing property damage after a fire, an adjuster must consider which of the following factors before determining the payout amount. A. The policyholder's ability to replace the property at current market value. B. The cause of the fire and whether it is covered under the policy. C. The total amount of personal property the policyholder owns. D. The policyholder's location and the local cost of labor. Answer. B. The cause of the fire and whether it is covered under the policy. Explanation. Before determining the payout for fire damage, the adjuster must first confirm that the cause of the fire is covered under the policy. Not all causes of fire are covered. G. Intentional or excluded causes like war. Once the adjuster verifies the cause of the fire, they can proceed to assess the damage and determine the payout. While replacement cost is a factor, it is secondary to determining if the cause of the fire is covered. C. The amount of personal property is considered when calculating the payout, but is not a primary factor until coverage is confirmed. D. Local labor costs are part of the damage assessment but come after confirming the cause and coverage of the fire. Question 10. Ethical and legal considerations. An adjuster learns that the claimant has a previous conviction for insurance fraud. How should the adjuster handle this situation? The adjuster should automatically deny the claim based on the claimant's past conviction. B. The adjuster should investigate the current claim further but cannot deny it based solely on a past conviction. C. The adjuster should inform the claimant that their claim is likely to be denied because of the conviction. D. The adjuster should disregard the past conviction and process the claim without further investigation. Answer. B. The adjuster should investigate the current claim further but cannot deny it based solely on a past conviction. Explanation. An adjuster cannot deny a claim solely because a claimant has a prior conviction for insurance fraud. However, prior convictions may prompt the adjuster to investigate the claim more thoroughly for signs of potential fraud. The adjuster's duty is to assess the current claim based on its merit and not solely on the claimant's past actions. Denying the claim outright based on the past conviction would be an overstep and violate ethical standards. C. While the adjuster should investigate informing the claimant about a likely denial based solely on their conviction would be inappropriate. D. Disregarding the past conviction without investigation could lead to overlooking fraudulent activity in the current claim. Question 11. Liability determination. In a car accident involving two vehicles, the police report indicates that one driver ran a red light while the other was stopped at the intersection. What is the most likely outcome in terms of liability? A. Both drivers are equally responsible for the accident. B. The driver who ran the red light is likely to be considered at fault. C. The driver who was stopped is likely to be considered at fault. D. Liability will depend on the insurance policies of both drivers. Answer. B. The driver who ran the red light is likely to be considered at fault. Explanation. In this case, running a red light is a clear violation of traffic laws and is generally considered the cause of the accident. The driver who ran the red light would typically be held liable for the collision. A liability is usually assigned to the driver who committed the traffic violation, not shared equally unless both parties contributed to the incident. C. The driver who was stopped is generally not at fault unless other factors exist, such as not properly yielding when required. D. While insurance may affect the claim process, liability is based on fault, not the insurance policies. Question 12. Types of insurance coverage. Which of the following is NOT typically covered by a standard personal automobile insurance policy? A. Medical expenses for the driver after an accident. B. Damage to the driver's vehicle caused by a hit and run. C. Damage to another driver's vehicle when the policyholder is at fault. D. Damage caused by a natural disaster such as a tornado. Answer. D. Damage caused by a natural disaster such as a tornado. Explanation. Standard automobile policies do not typically cover damage caused by natural disasters such as tornadoes unless the driver has comprehensive coverage. Comprehensive insurance provides protection for damage caused by events other than collisions like weather-related incidents. A. Medical expenses for the driver are usually covered by personal injury protection, PIP, or medical payments coverage. B. Damage from a hit and run could be covered by uninsured motorist coverage depending on the policy. C. Damage to another driver's vehicle when at fault is covered by the liability portion of the policy. Question 13. Fraudulent claims. A claimant submits a property damage claim with inflated repair costs. What action should the adjuster take? A. Process the claim as is, since the claimant is the one responsible for providing accurate documentation. B. Reject the claim outright without any further investigation. C. Investigate the claim thoroughly, including verifying repair costs before making a decision. D. Notify the claimant of the inflated repair costs but approve the claim at the original amount. Answer: C. Investigate the claim thoroughly, including verifying repair costs before making a decision. Explanation: if there is suspicion of fraudulent behavior, such as inflated repair costs, the adjuster must investigate thoroughly. This may include verifying repair estimates, comparing quotes, and ensuring the cost is reasonable. Fraudulent claims must be addressed to prevent financial loss. A. It's the adjuster's responsibility to ensure the claim is accurate before processing. B. The adjuster cannot automatically reject a claim without first conducting a proper investigation. D. Simply notifying the claimant of inflated costs is insufficient if fraud is suspected. Full investigation is necessary. Question 14. Uninsured motorist coverage. A policyholder is in a car accident where the other driver has no insurance. What type of coverage will likely pay for the policyholder's medical expenses and property damage? A. Collision coverage. B. Uninsured motorist coverage. C. Comprehensive coverage. D. Liability coverage. Answer: B. Uninsured motorist coverage. Explanation: uninsured motorist coverage is designed to protect policyholders when they are in an accident caused by a driver who does not have insurance. This coverage typically pays for medical expenses, property damage, and other related costs. A. Collision coverage only applies when the policyholder is at fault or in a collision, not when the other driver is uninsured. C. Comprehensive coverage protects against non-collision incidents, e.g. theft, weather damage, not uninsured drivers. D. Liability coverage applies to the other driver's damages but would not apply to the policyholder's injuries or property damage. Question 15. Homeowners insurance. Which of the following scenarios would likely be covered by a standard homeowners insurance policy? A. A guest slips on the icy driveway and is injured. B. A guest falls off a ladder while helping with home repairs. C. Damage from a lightning strike to the house. D. Damage caused by a neighbor's tree falling onto the house. Answer: C. Damage from a lightning strike to the house. Explanation: homeowners insurance typically covers damage from lightning strikes, including damage to the structure of the home and any resulting fires. Medical expenses for injuries that occur on the property are typically covered by liability coverage in the policy, but there may be exclusions if the incident was due to negligence. B. Injuries occurring due to voluntary acts, e.g. home repairs, might be excluded unless a liability clause applies. D. Damage from a neighbor's tree is generally covered by homeowners insurance, but in some cases liability may fall to the neighbor if they were negligent in maintaining the tree. Question 16. Workers' compensation insurance. Which of the following is NOT typically covered by workers' compensation insurance? A. Medical expenses related to the work injury. B. Lost wages due to a work-related injury. C. Pain and suffering related to a work injury. D. Rehabilitation costs for a work-related injury. Answer: C. Pain and suffering related to a work injury. Explanation: workers' compensation is a no-fault system that typically covers medical expenses, lost wages, and rehabilitation costs for work-related injuries. However, it does not cover pain and suffering, as workers' comp is focused on providing financial support and care rather than compensating for emotional or physical pain. A. Medical expenses related to a work injury are covered under workers' compensation. B. Workers' compensation pays for a portion of lost wages due to a work-related injury. D. Rehabilitation costs are generally covered to help the employee recover and return to work. Question 17. Claims denial. An insurance adjuster denies a claim for a vehicle collision, saying that the policyholder was driving under the influence, degree of alcohol at the time of the accident. Which of the following is most likely to happen next? A. The policyholder can file an appeal for a reconsideration of the denial. B. The insurance company cannot deny the claim under any circumstances. C. The claim will be automatically reconsidered by a third-party mediator. D. The policyholder is not entitled to any benefits or recourse. Answer: A. The policyholder can file an appeal for a reconsideration of the denial. Explanation: if a claim is denied, the policyholder generally has the right to appeal the decision. They may present additional evidence or dispute the findings that led to the denial, such as showing that they were not under the influence or that another factor contributed to the accident. B. Insurance companies can deny claims for actions like DUI that are typically excluded in most auto policies. C. The reconsideration of the claim is not automatic and typically requires an appeal or legal action. D. The policyholder is not without recourse and can pursue an appeal or legal action if necessary. Question 18. Policy exclusions. Which of the following is an example of a common exclusion found in most homeowners insurance policies? A. Coverage for fire damage to the home. B. Damage caused by earthquakes or flooding. C. Theft of personal property inside the home. D. Liability for accidents that happen on the property. Answer: B. Damage caused by earthquakes or flooding. Explanation: most standard homeowners policies exclude coverage for earthquakes and flooding, requiring separate policies or endorsements for coverage in these situations. A fire damage is typically covered under a standard homeowners policy. C. Theft of personal property is covered under most homeowners policies, though exclusions may apply for certain high-value items. D. Liability for accidents on the property is generally covered, though certain exclusions may apply. Question 19. Claim settlement process. An adjuster is handling a claim and has determined that the damage to the policyholder's home is significant. What should the adjuster do next? A. Immediately issue the claim payout. B. Hire an independent contractor to make repairs on behalf of the policyholder. C. Inspect the property, verify the claim's details, and assess the coverage before issuing a settlement. D. Deny the claim if the damage is above the policy limits. Answer: C. Inspect the property, verify the claim's details, and assess the coverage before issuing a settlement. Explanation: the adjuster must first inspect the property to assess the damage and ensure that the claim is valid and covered by the policy. Verifying coverage is essential to determine the payout amount before settlement. Question 20. Underinsured motorist coverage. A driver has the minimum liability insurance required by law but causes a significant accident that leads to costly medical expenses for the other party. The at-fault driver's insurance policy limits are not enough to cover the full medical expenses. Which type of coverage will help cover the remaining medical expenses for the injured party? A. Collision coverage. B. Underinsured motorist coverage. C. Comprehensive coverage. D. Liability coverage. Answer: B. Underinsured motorist coverage. Explanation: underinsured motorist coverage helps cover expenses when the at-fault driver's insurance is not enough to pay for the full extent of damages or medical costs. A. Collision coverage only covers damages to the policyholder's own vehicle in a collision, not injuries caused by another driver. C. Comprehensive coverage deals with damage caused by events other than collisions, e.g. theft, vandalism. D. Liability coverage pays for damages the policyholder causes to others, but only up to the policy's limit. If the at-fault driver's coverage is insufficient, the injured party can use underinsured motorist coverage. Question 21. Filing an insurance claim. A policyholder wishes to file a claim after a house fire, but the fire department has not yet completed their investigation. What should the policyholder do next? A. Wait until the investigation is complete and the fire department issues a report before filing the claim. B. Immediately file the claim with the insurance company as the fire department's report is not necessary for the claim. C. Only file the claim after gathering a list of all property losses. D. Call the insurance company to verify whether the fire was covered by the policy. Answer: B. Immediately file the claim with the insurance company as the fire department's report is not necessary for the claim. Explanation: the policyholder should file the claim promptly as delays can impact the ability to receive compensation. While the fire department's investigation is important, the insurance company can start the claims process based on initial information and investigation, with the final report being used later if needed. A. Waiting for the fire department's report is not necessary to begin the claims process. C. While it is helpful to document losses, filing the claim should not be delayed. D. It is better to initiate the claim and then provide documentation from the fire department when available. Question 22. Policy limits. A policyholder has a car insurance policy with a $500,000 liability coverage limit. If they cause an accident resulting in $600,000 worth of damages, what will the insurance company pay? A. $500,000. B. $600,000. C. The policyholder will have to pay the remaining $100,000 out of pocket. D. The insurance company will pay the full amount if the policyholder is at fault. Answer: A. $500,000. Explanation: The insurance company will only pay up to the policy's coverage limit, which in this case is $500,000. The policyholder will be responsible for any amount over the limit, which would be $100,000. B. The insurance company cannot exceed the policy limit. C. While the policyholder is responsible for the excess, the insurance will pay the maximum limit. D. The policyholder's liability is still capped by the insurance limit. Question 23. Liability coverage for property damage. Which type of insurance coverage is designed to cover the repair costs for damage a driver causes to another person's vehicle or property? A. Personal injury protection. B. Comprehensive coverage. C. Liability coverage. D. Uninsured motorist coverage. Answer: C. Liability coverage. Explanation: liability coverage is intended to pay for the damage a policyholder causes to another person's vehicle or property when they are at fault. A. Personal injury protection covers medical expenses for injuries regardless of fault but does not cover property damage. B. Comprehensive coverage pays for damages to the policyholder's own vehicle caused by non-collision events. D. Uninsured motorist coverage protects against accidents with uninsured drivers, not damage to others' property. Question 24. Umbrella insurance. An umbrella insurance policy provides coverage above and beyond other personal insurance policies. Which of the following scenarios would NOT be covered by an umbrella policy? A. A claim for medical expenses after an auto accident that exceeds the driver's auto insurance limits. B. A lawsuit for defamation filed against the policyholder. C. Damage to the policyholder's home from a fire. D. A claim for bodily injury sustained while the policyholder is participating in a recreational activity. Answer: C. Damage to the policyholder's home from a fire. Explanation: umbrella insurance provides extra coverage for incidents where standard policies such as auto or homeowners may fall short. However, it does not cover damages to the policyholder's own property. G. Home damage from a fire. A. Umbrella policies cover liabilities beyond auto insurance limits. B. Defamation lawsuits are typically covered by umbrella policies. D. Umbrella insurance can cover bodily injury claims in excess of standard policy limits even for recreational activities. Question 25. Claim deductibles. Which of the following statements about insurance claim deductibles is true? A. The deductible is the amount the policyholder must pay before the insurance company begins to pay for a claim. B. The deductible is paid only after the insurance company has settled the claim. C. Deductibles are waived if the claim involves bodily injury. D. The deductible amount is deducted from the policyholder's premium. Answer: A. The deductible is the amount the policyholder must pay before the insurance company begins to pay for a claim. Explanation: a deductible is the portion of a claim that the policyholder must pay out of pocket before the insurance company begins to pay for the damages or expenses. B. The deductible is paid before the insurance company covers any remaining costs. C. Deductibles typically apply to both property damage and bodily injury claims depending on the policy. D. The deductible is a separate amount from the premium and is not deducted from it. Question 26. Flood insurance. Which of the following is NOT typically covered by? A standard homeowner's insurance policy. A. Water damage caused by a burst pipe. B. Damage caused by a flood. C. Damage caused by a leaky roof. D. Water damage caused by a backed up sewer. Answer: B. Damage caused by a flood. Explanation: flood damage is not covered by a standard homeowner's insurance policy. Special flood insurance must be purchased separately through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, or other providers. A. Water damage from a burst pipe is typically covered under standard homeowner's insurance. C. Damage from a leaky roof is covered if the roof damage is caused by a covered peril. D. Water damage from a sewer backup may be covered if the policy includes an endorsement or specific coverage. Question 27. Policy exclusions. Which of the following types of property damage is most likely to be excluded under a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Damage caused by fire. B. Theft of personal property. C. Water damage from a broken pipe. D. Damage caused by a pet. Answer: D. Damage caused by a pet. Explanation: most standard homeowners policies exclude damage caused by pets, including damage to personal property or the home itself. However, liability coverage may apply if the pet injures someone. A. Fire damage is typically covered under homeowners insurance. B. Theft of personal property is covered, though certain items may have limits. C. Water damage from a broken pipe is generally covered unless the damage resulted from neglect. Question 28. No-fault insurance. In a state with no-fault insurance, what does this system primarily allow for? A. The injured party can always file a lawsuit against the at-fault driver. B. Both drivers are equally liable for the accident. C. Each driver's insurance covers their own medical expenses and lost wages, regardless of fault. D. Only the driver who is at fault is responsible for the other party's medical expenses. Answer: C. Each driver's insurance covers their own medical expenses and lost wages, regardless of fault. Explanation: in a no-fault insurance system, each driver's insurance typically covers their own medical expenses and lost wages after an accident, regardless of who caused the accident. This system aims to reduce the number of lawsuits related to accidents. A. Lawsuits are limited or restricted in no-fault states. B. No-fault systems do not assign liability in the same way as fault-based systems. D. Each driver is responsible for their own expenses, not the other drivers. Question 29. Comprehensive coverage. Which of the following situations would most likely be covered under comprehensive coverage in an auto insurance policy? A. A collision with another vehicle. B. A car accident caused by driving under the influence. C. Theft of the car. D. Property damage from a car accident where the policyholder is at fault. Answer: C. Theft of the car. Explanation: comprehensive coverage typically covers damage to your vehicle caused by non-collision events such as theft, vandalism, natural disasters, and falling objects. It does not cover damage from accidents where you're at fault or damage caused by collisions. A collision with another vehicle would typically be covered under collision coverage, not comprehensive. B. A DUI-related accident would generally be excluded from coverage or may result in higher premiums, but it's not typically covered by comprehensive insurance. D. Property damage in an accident where the policyholder is at fault would be covered under liability coverage, not comprehensive. Question 30. Insurance fraud. What is considered insurance fraud? A. Filing a claim for damages that occurred due to an accident. B. Providing false information to an insurance company to obtain a benefit. C. Using insurance to cover medical expenses after legitimate injury. D. Delaying a claim to ensure all damages are reported. Answer: B. Providing false information to an insurance company to obtain a benefit. Explanation: insurance fraud occurs when someone provides false or misleading information to an insurance company to receive a payout or benefit to which they are not entitled. This is a criminal act and can lead to severe penalties. A. Filing a claim for damages after an accident is not fraud as long as the information is truthful. C. Using insurance to cover legitimate medical expenses is lawful and not considered fraud. D. Delaying a claim is not fraud unless it's done with the intent to deceive or manipulate the claim.